It's Captain D. Today we're doing a cannonball run with the virtual USA Flying Club. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the Discord on so you guys can hear the briefing. And then once the briefing is done, we'll talk a little bit more about the flight.
Because it's everything other than the CSL. Everything else is working.
Yeah, no, it looks right because Mike had posted his folder path, so your folder path was correct.
Alright, the briefing should start here shortly.
Alright, last thing I'm going to try. I'm going to delete all the contents out of the CSL folder and take my backup one.
Alright, 1 minute. 1 minute until 8 o'clock for event briefing, everybody.
Alright, we're just waiting for everything to start here.
It is 8 p.m. Eastern on the East Coast. Thank you for coming in today, everyone. Welcome to the Cannonball Run. Sean's hosting it. I'm just going to say a couple words real quick. First and foremost, make sure you're abiding by the event etiquette this evening. Maintain your situational awareness. And just know that I'm going to be the one making the calls every 2 minutes for when the next person can depart for the metering. Sean will discuss that more here in a second. Unless my power goes, because I do have some pretty nasty weather coming my way, and if I disappear randomly, suddenly, I will at least still try to get back in here on my phone in terms of the voice, but hopefully I won't have to resort to those measures, because that would probably not be good for my computer. But, cross that bridge when we get there. It's Sean's event. It's Sean's show. Take it away.
Alright, good evening, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. The often forgotten Douglas DC-3s. Welcome to the event tonight, the Cannonball Run. We're going to be doing something a little bit interesting tonight, maybe a little bit different than what we normally do. Be kind of simulating semi-real world Grand Canyon tour ops procedures today as we traverse from Grand Canyon West Airport to the Grand Canyon National Airport. We should all be getting ready to start up on the ground here at Grand Canyon West. Just a quick little tidbit of information for those that are cross-platform on different sims. It seems most likely some of our FSX prepared users will be spawning on the east side of the runway, and our X-Plane users will be spawning on the west side of the runway. So do be mindful, I guess, when we get to the departure of who you're going to be following tonight. As far as starting off with the brief, I'd like everyone, if they could, to please pull up the briefing document. That'll be very helpful. Currently, we're going to be departing from Grand Canyon West, 1 Gulf 4. The winds tonight seem to be favoring runway 17, so we'll be making a 17 departure with a right turn out to the west. If we're also going to have something for everybody's visual awareness. If you could pull up the sky vector for the Grand Canyon Tour Ops sectional, or part of the sectional, that'll be very helpful. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to climb and make our way on over to the initial entry point, which is going to be over Lake Mead and Pearce Canyon. We're going to be climbing to 7,500 feet. We're going to have to be mindful that we remain clear of the Grand Canyon SFRA. That's that little zipper kind of chart legend on the map. You want to remain clear of that special flight rules area until we come to our entry point. Once we get on Lake Mead, we're going to make our initial call for the when we start the route. Everybody that's going to be departing Grand Canyon West, like Mike said, we're going to be doing a 2-minute separation between each departure so we don't get too bunched up. There is no speed restriction until we enter the SFRA, but we're going to abide by the speed restriction the whole way in order to keep us from getting bunched up as we transition to the Lake Mead Pearce Canyon checkpoint. So we're going to maintain a minimum of 110 knots in the climb and a maximum of 130 knots doing our cruise and descents. I'll be leading the pack tonight. Plan on flying around 120 knots indicated for all our for most of the flight if I can do that. Once we get over the Pearce Canyon checkpoint, we're going to be on Unicom 122.8 as we depart out of here. And once we transition onto the blue route here of the Grand Canyon Tour, we'll make our first call. My first call is going to be November 327 Sierra Zulu, Pearce Canyon, 7,500 blue route. So when you make your calls, you're going to make your calls with your call sign, where you are, how high you are, and what route you're on, or anything else that might be applicable. So a real important thing tonight for everybody is as you start your operation down the route, kind of be mindful of who's in front of you and who's behind you, so you can kind of judge how far they are and kind of follow along on the chart. There's a couple mandatory checkpoints that we're going to be calling out tonight, so if you want to follow along the sectional chart, the first point is over Lake Mead. It's going to be Pearce Canyon. It'll be on the blue route. Our second call is going to be over the Bat Cave. It's about 8 miles down the route, and then you're still going to be at 7,500. You're going to make your right-hand turn over Burt Canyon. That'll be another call to head kind of southwest. And then once we're on the blue route, we get to that loop, we're going to transition off the blue route into the Pearce Ferry sector transition. This is a kind of a transition that pilots can use when they're transitioning through the Grand Canyon if there's instrument conditions on the other parts of the blue route, in order for us to stay in the Grand Canyon sector here, the special flight rules there. So we'll transition down this. We'll join the blue route, Pearce Ferry sector over Horse Flat Canyon. There's no announcements as you transition to that until you get to Spencer Canyon. It's still considered the blue route, even though it's a dashed blue route. It's still the blue route. So you'll still be at 7,500 as you cross Spencer Canyon. Once you get towards Diamond Creek, you're going to start a climb up to at least 8,500 feet. What you're going to want to do is you want to make sure that you hit at least 9,500 feet by the time you transition onto the blue direct south route. That's the solid blue. That's just past the Diamond Creek sector here on the sectional. So you want to make sure you get 9,500 before you get there. So you can adjust your climb anywhere from Diamond Creek up to joining the blue direct south route in order to make sure you start at 9,500 feet. Transitioning along, so that'll be our first altitude change. Once you are along the blue direct south route at 9,500, we're going to be able to begin our descent back down to 7,500. Once you cross into the Supai sector, there's not a lot as far as visual reference for when you cross into. If you already passed the canyon, you know you can just start the South Supai Canyon. You know you can already start descending. There's no calls needed. You're not on any routes that require any calls at that point. So you can start your descent back down to 7,500. Be mindful that you do not exceed the 130 knots in descent. They are going to be a little bit high as far as density altitude going, so anybody with nationally aspirated airplanes, they might kind of either struggle to maintain power in the climb and might have maybe too much power in the descent for some of the more higher powered airplanes. So just be mindful of your speed when you make your altitude changes. Keep that in your scan. We're going to start to transition towards Grand Canyon National Park Airport. What we're going to do is we're going to be joining the Black Route over the 10X Meadow VFR checkpoint, but before we do that, we have to be at the appropriate altitude, and it's going to require us to transition through the Grand Canyon National Park Delta. So what's going to be required of us is we're going to have to call ATC if they are on. We've asked for them to be on. What you should do is you should just call them up probably just before the square on the point. Use that as a VFR checkpoint to request transition through the Delta at 8,000 feet. So an example of the call would be Grand Canyon Tower, November 3270 Zulu, approaching the square, request transition through the Delta to the east at 8,000 feet. You get your transition approved, he'll give you some other special directions if that's required, and then you're just going to transition through the Delta at 8,000 feet. And then once you exit the Delta, you can either request a radio change to advisories or a frequency change, but that's not required if you know you're clear, and you can identify that you're clear. Once you cross 10X Meadows, you can switch back to Unicom and report joining the Black Route. So in this case, we'll be doing the Black Route. You start the Black Route at 8,000 feet. So it'll be November 3270 Zulu, 10X Meadow, 8,000 Black Route. And you'll transition along the Black Route. You'll make your calls. The next call is going to be Grandview Tower. Next call is going to be Zuni Alpha. Let's see. From Zuni Alpha, Temple Butte is before you start making an east turn towards Cape Solitude, and you'll make your loop around. You don't need to call the VFR checkpoint for Little Colorado. That's only necessary if you were to join the Black Route from that entry point. So you'll make your loop, and then you'll start to head towards Nanquip Mesa. Once you hit Nanquip Mesa, you will start a climb to 9,500. If you look at the Black Route chart, it says that you could be at either 8,000 or 9,000 at this point. You'll see that there's a black dash towards the top end, just past Nanquip Mesa. That is when you're required to be at least 8,500 feet on the route. So we're going to be starting a climb to 9,500 because the Black Route eventually has you climbing all the way up to 9,500. So if you start a climb at Nanquip Mesa to 9,500, you should be able to meet all those altitude restrictions and requirements. You'll call out over the split. We're going to be splitting west today, so you'll be making the right-hand turn. Once you cross the split, you're required to be at least 9,500. So you have from Nanquip Mesa to the split to reach 9,500. So that's 1,500 feet of altitude. So be mindful of where your speed's at. Be mindful of how fast you're climbing, and do your best to try and accommodate that. It's not too much distance, and if you're in an underpowered airplane, it might be a little bit of a challenge for you. So you'll be at 9,500 going along the Black Route towards the west. You're going to call out Dragon Bravo. You're going to call out Tower of Ra. Once you approach Tower of Ra, you're cleared to descend back down to 8,500. That's our visual point to let us know that it's safe to come back down to 8,500. Your last call is going to be over the river. That'll be your VFR checkpoint and your last call along the Black Route. So this is going to be our last call and our initial call to tower. So our last call over Unicom is going to be November 327 Sierra Zulu over the river, 8,500 Black Route, last call. And that's going to be your last call on Unicom. You're going to switch to tower. You're going to report to the tower, Grand Canyon Tower, November 327 Sierra Zulu, just south of the river, inbound to land with the weather. He's going to give you an entry pattern, entry assignment to join the, probably most likely the right downwind for 2-1. So that should be pretty easy based on our direction that we're coming from. He's going to either give you, depending on traffic, a couple VFR checkpoints to maybe proceed towards before joining the downwind. It could either be the ranch, the key, the siding, the square, or anything that the controller is going to dictate. So from there, we're going to start to enter the pattern and make our full stop landing. It seems we're going to have a large enough group today where the first person coming in to land, which should be me, is going to be entering the downwind probably as one of the last people is transitioning through the delta. The black route takes about 40 minutes to do the loop. The whole event is going to be about 2 hours, just under 2 hours. So be mindful of that for your time. As far as aircraft requirements, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, but make sure you have an aircraft that is capable of maintaining 110 knots to 130 knots in both climbs, cruise, and descents. Some of you may be using underpowered airplanes and might struggle to do that. Do your best to do that. Some of you might be using overpowered airplanes, so be mindful of your speeds, and you may or may not have to use flaps or something. That's at your discretion, but you have to comply with the speeds today along this route. There will be no passing, there will be no acrobatics, etc. We're going to be just along the route, no formation flying, so do your best to maintain separation from those in front and those that are behind you. Use the Discord if necessary. Like I said, know who's in front of you, know who's behind you. Other than that, make sure you put the USA Flying Club, Virtual USA Flying Club in your remarks to your flight plan. You can file a flight plan from Grand Canyon West to Grand Canyon National. And then just when you call Grand Canyon Tower, just let them know your first call is going to be a transition, and then you'll come back and you'll land. Make sure, just kind of, if you want, we have the charts or the SkyVector pages for both airports there to reference. And make sure, if you can, it's highly recommended that those that are flying this have an aircraft that's equipped with a autopilot in order to fly this route, so that we can all have the appropriate track along the route. I guess at this time, I'll send it back to Mike, and if anybody has any questions, Mike and me will help answer those.
Yeah, so real quick, make sure you do file VFR flight plan from 1G4 to Grand Canyon National, because otherwise you really won't show up on the network since we're starting at the uncontrolled field. That is a little, just a VAT spy glitch in general, but it's going to be also courteous to the controllers if there are any controllers. Right now, there is no controller at Grand Canyon National. Now, in their defense, we wouldn't necessarily be even getting, the first aircraft wouldn't be getting Grand Canyon National for at least another half an hour to 40 minutes even. So we're not super worried about that yet. If for whatever reason there is no ATC at Grand Canyon National, then when you get over the area of the airport, just act like you're talking to a Unicom or CTAF frequency there and let them know you're transitioning the Delta at that altitude. If that person does come online, they'll be aware of what's going on, because I did send the message to ZLA about it. So hopefully we will get the coverage for that at the appropriate time. But otherwise, we'll open up the floor to any questions.
I was just studying the chart there on SkyVector last night. Now, is this dashed line that we're following, the legend says only for use to avoid IMC weather. Now, in real life, are these routes not flown what we're doing tonight as part of a regular tour? Only the Blue Direct north and south?
The blue route would be flown as a loop, if you see how it loops around. The The dashed blue route would normally only be used if there's some type of fog or obscuration on the blue direct south route. And that's what the air charters use for transitioning through the special FFRA to get to Grand Canyon National in order to start tours or bring passengers from Vegas. The blue direct north and blue direct south are more for like transitioning through the Grand Canyon airspace. Realistically, if you were a tour operator, you'd either do the blue route and land, or you just do the black route. You wouldn't really transition and do it kind of all in one hodgepodge of a thing, but we're trying to kind of maximize our time and experience today. So we're kind of combining them. And we thought the best way to combine it would be to use that VFR sector route through the Pearce Ferry and Diamond Creek sector.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. We'll get to see a lot of nice scenery. So that's great.
Yeah, so it is very scenic. Until you kind of join the blue direct south end, you're just a little bit far from the canyon in order to be able to see everything, but you can still make out the canyon. And then once you get into the black route, it gets very scenic. But it's very encouraged that you use an autopilot so that you can enjoy the scenery and also just kind of pay attention to your call outs and speeds and necessary times to make altitude changes. Now, is there anybody that struggled or needs help getting the route in order to be able to fly it with the use of GPS steering autopilot? All right, that I'll take that as good news that everybody figured it out. Yeah, it's in the real world, these routes, you have to get an FAA check ride to do every single one of these routes individually, so it is not an easy thing to kind of just wing it and do it visually. All right, Mike, anything to add?
No, I don't have anything to add other than like we talked about. I am going to be metering the departures. So Sean, which is 327 Sierra Zulu, will be the first one to depart, and I'll be doing a hard timer every 2 minutes. So once I see that he is in the air, that clock starts at 2 minutes. Whoever the next person in line is will depart. So that next person in line can line up on the runway, and obviously make the appropriate calls on the Unicom. But at the 2 minutes, I will say next person. I'll be able to see your call signs because I keep the call signs on for my CSL. So I'll see your call sign. I'll let you know that you can go. And then once I see your wheels up, the 2 minute clock will start again, and so on and so on. And I will be the last person to depart. Is there any confusion on that?
What frequency do we use?
We're using the VATSIM Unicom 122.8. If there are no other questions, Sean, you can start leading the pack. If you guys want, like Sean said, he's on the other side of the runway because he's got the X-Plane. It looks like November 7 Papa Mike has the same thing. But the rest of you guys that are X-Plane, if you want to start lining up on what we'll call the correct side of the runway, you're welcome to do so. Again, one at a time, use the Unicom calls. Sean will be first, and I'll start the clock rolling. Worst case scenario, because I have the weather around me, if I kick power, I'll at least come on my phone and try and continue to do the timer as best I can. If not, Brant, you're going to be the backup on that in case my power kicks.
Roger that. Can do.
All right, so that's the flight briefing. Just getting the plane ready here. For some reason, my GTN's not coming on. I'm getting ran over by
Grand Canyon West traffic. Grand Canyon West Cardinal 410 Hotel Alpha is taxiing to a runway 17 on up the left side of the runway.
Sean, since you're first to go, if you want to just traverse the runway.
Hey, Grand Canyon West, Cessna 317 Bravo Golf, taxiing to 17. Arrow 79 Juliet Whiskey is taxiing to runway 17 via Alpha, Grand Canyon West.
Just load a different plane and load it back again.
You're just going to be building a line at the end of the runway, so whoever, I think it's Wes, you're leading that, just hold short on the whole short line there. You'll see me over in the corner of the run-up area. I'm just there to watch and start metering you guys, but it'll be Sean to go first, so you guys will be hanging out just a little bit in that.
Sounds good, Mike. I'm just gonna kind of pretend like you're a pop-up controller here, but
There you go. I do have some experience controlling.
enough. I still don't see our lead aircraft on the field yet.
He's on the other side of the field because he's in an FSX. He's gonna be getting onto the runway when he can, so just hang tight for.
Sounds good. To get on the route, that's probably you want to do a right downwind, right?
So, because we are departing due south, if you want to go direct to the fix that is 3558 north, 11354 west. So that's 1, 2, 3. I think that's the fourth dot off of Grand Canyon west. Since we are departing south, if you want to just kind of fly, make like a right crosswind departure directly to that 3558 north, 11354 west.
Gonna restart X-Plane here. For some reason my GTN doesn't want to load. So you're gonna see a black screen for a minute.
Yeah, that'll work. I just plan on making, I think it's a third or fourth point, a right kind of right base departure, a right crosswind departure.
Everybody get on that?
Very firm.
Will it be an issue that you can't see anybody, or is that okay?
I guess it'll be okay. What's Lucas, it was you? Wrong runway. You gotta go the other way.
Yeah, he's got his mic muted right now as well.
Alright, well, we'll let him get sorted out. Lucas, is that you that said you're having an issue seeing another aircraft?
Yeah, I don't have it set up, but I can see from here.
Alright. I'll keep an eye on you then. For now, you're heading the wrong runway, so just keep going forward, and then I'll kind of give you an idea when to stop up. I have Overwatch. We're good.
Time to come up here.
Join not briefing, make sure that you have read the text briefing, that you have a general idea of what's going on. You do have a few minutes here to ask questions, but know that each departure is going to be metered by me, and it's going to be every 2 minutes. So you're waiting for my signal to be able to depart off of Grand Canyon West. And as long as my power doesn't go, please God, it's starting to get really nasty outside right now. Still only have the search effect quest. I haven't learned a lesson. So fingers crossed.
You should be fine with that, Mike.
Did you guys talk about naturally carbureted departures at high density altitude?
Sean kind of made mention that the naturally aspirated engines are probably going to struggle a little bit.
Alright, sounds good.
If you want to talk about it a little more in detail, you can.
If you have a second to do a run up, make sure you find the sweet spot on your mixture. If you're trying to do full rich departure at this density altitude, you're struggling to get out. It'll be too.
Is that you rolling, Sean? Rolling. Alright. Since you're in the same sim, Paul, send Papa Mike, you'll be the next aircraft to go, and then we'll start the X-plane side, so you can line up on the runway.
Okay.
Grand Canyon West traffic, Cardinals turning right crosswind, departing to the west, Grand Canyon.
Timer's running. And again, I know it's going to seem like a pain in the butt, guys, and it's going to, really help to space this out, though, to do the hard 2 minutes between each departure. So for the guys that end up being closer to the end of the line, we appreciate your patience.
Grand Canyon West traffic, November 121 Zulu Alpha, taxiing runway 17 via Alpha.
So something that right now is also interesting is there's still nobody on Grand Canyon Tower, but there is an LA Center on. LA Center would cover Grand Canyon National Tower, God bless his soul, if there is no tower on. So let's just keep that in mind. We'll worry about that as we get a little bit closer.
Alright, we're on Unicom. Engine started. Alright. Now we're just waiting our turn.
Hey, Lucas, stop. Stop. Here, you know what, guys? Why don't we let him lead that line then, since he's gonna have the issue with the other people, seeing the other people. Send Papa Mike, you can go.
Grand Canyon West traffic, November 7, Papa Mike, departing runway 17. Grand Canyon West traffic.
Lucas, why don't you line up? 624 Papa Lima, line up. Yeah, line up. I can hear you. Okay, keep going forward, keep going forward, keep going forward. You don't see a runway? Okay, if you start turning right, that's going to be the runway.
Turn right now, heading 172.
Beacons on, taxis on, navs and strobes are off.
624 Papa Lima, taking off runway 17.
Don't take off yet, line up. You don't take off yet. I'll let you know when you can launch. Jesus, it's so windy outside.
Not really coming tomorrow, buddy. We're just saying 6 to 12 inches of rain. Oh. same as Lucas usually. Interesting. Yeah, that's really odd if you're only shooting that. Get your ammo for it. That's alright. I understand. I'm thinking maybe. Yeah, that might have. Okay, you might have buried your overlays as overlay.
Lucas, you can go.
624 Papa Lima taking off 17.
West line up.
You, 130. It's crazy. Terrain, you know, like marina. This is like that place you go.
Just heard the big radio, like the TV warning thing.
Grand Canyon West traffic, Aero 9 Jelly Whiskey, taking runway 17, Grand Canyon West.
Severe thunderstorm warning. Gust to 60. Yeah, no crap. It's gust gusts. Don't be surprised if I randomly disappear, ladies and gentlemen. So just make sure you're making a right turn on the departure there, bud. Looks like you're going left, man. Yeah, so we discussed it. You gotta go towards like that, not the first couple of points, but it's 1, 2, 3. The fourth point is the one that you want to go to first, or right crossing. Kind of where like that little tip of the special flight rules area juts out.
Southwest of the 4 and 48.
The fix that should be, if you're looking at the sectional that he put up, 35, 58 north, 113, 54 west.
Back's supposed to be.
West, you can go.
Grand Canyon West traffic, Aero 9 Juliet Whiskey, taking off runway 17, right crosswind departure to the west. Grand Canyon West traffic.
So once I tell someone to go, the next person holding can line.
Grand Canyon West traffic, Cardinal 410 Hotel Alpha is lining up to wait on runway 17, Grand Canyon West.
Lucas can do file flight print. Frame issues? Yes, sir. Sorry, man.
Grand Canyon West traffic, Aero 9 Juliet Whiskey is turning right crosswind, runway 17, Grand Canyon West traffic.
All right. So it looks like we're going to be following November 900 Alpha Zulu.
3270 Zulu, Pearce Canyon, 7500 blue route.
Bit of a gap between 7 Pop with Mike and 9 Juliet Whiskey because of Lucas having the sim. That's okay. Nothing wrong with a little more speed.
It's like a 2 minutes is pretty good gap, like 4 or 5 miles.
Jeffrey, go.
Grand Canyon West traffic, Cardinal 410 Hotel Alpha departing runway 17 for departure to the west. Grand Canyon West.
Grand Canyon West traffic, Cessna 317 Bravo Golf, lining up 17, Grand Canyon West.
Need to fix my offsets so everybody's not floating.
Tower Center is the man that covers the Delta. That's LA Center, 25-8.
I joined the Blue Direct South. I'll maybe send him a private message.
I sent him a private message already with no response. Said he's either busy or hasn't. He's definitely hoping for at least a tower, but we'll see. There is also the FNO going on tonight, technically, the Southern Region, so I mean, we'll go with what we get.
See everybody kicking off.
Grand Canyon area traffic, November 7 Papa Mike, Pearce Ferry 7500 blue route.
Grand Canyon West traffic, Skyhawk 410 Hotel Alpha on the right crosswind. Grand Canyon West.
Got the first band of storms with that was in the tower, but I still got another 2 bands coming.
Let's see, we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, probably 8 minutes before we're gonna depart here.
Brian, you're good?
Hey, Grand Canyon West traffic, Cessna 317 Bravo Golf, departing 17, be right cross departure to the west, Grand Canyon West.
November 3270 Zulu, Bat Cave, 7500 blue route.
So the guys on still on the ground, you can kind of hear from Sean, who is leading the pack, that the kind of call-outs that you need to make if you were curious what it sounds like on
Grand Canyon West, November 317 Bravo Golf, right turn, right crosswind departure to the west, Grand Canyon West. November 7 Papa Mike, Bat Cave Blue Route 7500.
Brandon, for some reason my CSL is ground clamping you. It's really weird. Joshua, you're good. You can roll. I didn't hear a call on the frequency. Sure you're on 22.8? Sure. I didn't hear a call.
November 3270 Zulu, Grand Canyon 7500 Blue Route.
Grand Canyon West traffic, switching at 836 Yankee is on the upwind. We'll be right turn out to the west. Grand Canyon West.
Yes, I did.
That's a Cardinal 177.
Are you using real weather and holding speeds? Because you're a little slow, but you gotta meter your climb so that you're not doing less than 110 knots in the kick.
Doing the best I can. Yeah, you should be able to get. I'm in the Cardinal RG. I was able to get about 500 feet a minute at 110, up to 7,500. You got a little bit of time to get there.
There's really no rush in the climbs or descents. You want to maintain the speed. That's really the important.
Centurion November 7 Papa Mike, Burnt Canyon 7500 Blue Route.
Yeah, I figured it out. Damn, the flaps are still down, or the gear is still there. Probably. The gear was down.
Grand Canyon traffic Arrow, 9 Juliet Whiskies, crossing Pearce Canyon, Blue Route 7500. Grand Canyon traffic.
Okay, I know you're good.
Cessna 8134 Quebec departing runway 17, the Grand Canyon West traffic, right crosswind departure to the west.
Grand Canyon West traffic, Centurion 121 Zulu Alpha, lining me up 17.
Grand Canyon West traffic, Cessna 34 Quebec right crosswind, VFR departure to the west, Grand Canyon traffic.
traffic, Centurion 121 Zulu Alpha departing runway 17 to the west.
Zach, who is the token CSL 737 since the TVM doesn't have a CSL.
I did figure out how to fix that though, Mike.
Yeah, that.
I forgot the name of it, but there's like a similar file or something like that. But it's a file where you go in and get anything that's similar, and it groups it together. So if it doesn't have the CSL, it gives it something that looks kind of like. Through and did like the E1000, the TC12, the TVM, and put them all in there as similar, and so it uses whatever CSL I have that's in the same family.
Yeah, I'll work on that.
Just group it by an IKO code. That's all it takes.
There is actually a CSL file for the TBM. I'll pull it out of my folder and put it on the Discord as soon as we get in cruise here.
Grand Canyon traffic, Arrow 9 Juliet Whiskey, Batcave, Blue Route 7500 southbound.
Some of the guys are complaining because they don't have a CSL for the TBM in front of me. But I do.
I see you, Mike. I'm past the airport.
Nice.
November 410 Hotel Alpha, Pearce Canyon 7500 feet, Blue Route.
November 3270, Spencer Canyon 7500 Blue Route.
November 317 Bravo Golf, Pearce Canyon 7500 Blue Route.
Jeffrey, you want to speed up at just the hair, 5 knots over maybe, and brake a little something to get that space in again. Unless you're already pedaling as fast as she'll go.
I gave it, I was holding at like 115, so I'll see if I can get it 120.
Zach, you can go.
See if I can get it back to 100.
Guys, just keep in mind, Alpha 900 Alpha Zulu for the guy that's behind him, which is 21 Delta Alpha. He is text. So just keep in mind that 900 Alpha Zulu is a text pilot. You.
Will do. Thanks, Mike. Grand Canyon West Cessna Cardinal taking runway 17.
Grand Canyon traffic, 20 minutes, 836 Yankee, Pearce Canyon, 7500 Blue Route. Grand Canyon traffic.
Ralph, how you looking?
Grand Canyon traffic, Arrow 9 Juliet Whiskey, Pearce Canyon, Blue Route 7500.
Alright, now we're just waiting for clearance to go. We'll give a little bit of separation between me and the TBM in front of me here.
Hotel Alpha Bat Cave 7500 Blue Route.
Grand Canyon West traffic, Cessna Cardinal departing runway 17, VFR departure to the west, Grand Canyon West.
Radio check, 5x5. Aircraft calling 5x5.
Aircraft calling 5x5.
5x5. Before Quebec, Pearce Canyon, 7,500 Blue Route.
Guard. Grand Canyon West, traffic, Kodiak 816, lining up runway 21, Grand Canyon West.
November 317 Bravo Golf, Bat Cave 7500 Blue Route.
Trying to let the speed build up here.
Cardinal 410 Hotel Alpha, Burnt Canyon 7500 Blue Route.
Okay, traffic, recommend to 832 Yankee, Bat Cave, 7500 Blue Route, Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon West, traffic, Kodiak 816, departing runway 21, VFR westbound, Grand Canyon West.
6,000, 1,500 to go.
November 317 Bravo Golf, Burnt Canyon, 7500 Blue Route.
Coming up on 6,500. 1,000 to go. We're holding almost 100 knots, so we're a little bit slow. Hopefully we won't be holding too many people up here. That 13 knot wind off the south is rocking us around quite a bit.
Cessna 34 Quebec, Bat Cave 7,500 Blue Route.
Breaking traffic, Yankee, Burnt Canyon, 7500 Blue Route, Grand Canyon.
500 feet to go. Gears up, flaps are up. Okay, everything. We've reduced as much drag as we can.
Grand Canyon West traffic, Turbo Otter 748, Hotel Sierra departing runway 17 to the west. Grand Canyon West.
Centurion 121 Zulu Alpha over Pearce Canyon 7500 blue route.
Making the turn here.
Grand Canyon West traffic, Skyway for my Charlie line up for 117.
Cessna 3 for Quebec, Grand Canyon 7500 blue route.
Alright, we're at 120 knots. That's probably as good as we're going to get bouncing around up here in the wind.
Cardinal 410 Hotel Alpha, Pearce Canyon 7500.
Grand Canyon traffic, Cessna Cardinal, Pearce Canyon, 7500.
Grand Canyon West traffic, Skywagon 124 Mike Charlie departing runway 17, right cross for departure, Grand Canyon West.
Centurion 121 Zulu Alpha over Bat Cave 7500, blue route.
317 Bravo Golf, Canyon 7500, blue route.
Definitely some great scenery to take a look around here. We're almost to the Bat Cave. Made our turn. We're going to pass the airport again on the right side. As we go over the Bat Cave, we'll make our call.
Centurion 121 Zulu Alpha over Grand Canyon 7500, blue route.
Kodiak 816, Pearce Canyon 7500, blue route.
And that wind is all over the place. 13 knots, 7 knots, 12 knots. Now we got 7 knots behind us. We're getting about 119 indicated, 139 over the ground, giving her all she's got. Grand Canyon traffic, November 21 Delta Alpha, Bat Cave 7500, blue route.
Cardinal 410 Hotel Alpha Diamond 7500, went up to 9500.
Alright, our next reporting point is about 15 miles ahead of us here at Burnt Canyon. We need to stay at 7,500. And we've just been given instruction, if ATC does not come online when it comes time to transition the delta, we will just avoid the delta to the south altogether. And just to remind everybody, there's about a 10-second, 15-second delay, so if you post a comment and I don't get to it right away, I probably didn't see it yet. Grand Canyon traffic, November 21 Delta Alpha, Burnt Canyon, 7,500 blue route.
Grand Canyon traffic, turbo outer 748 Hotel Sierra, 7500 blue route, Pearce Canyon.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Kodiak 816.
Pork Boy did a great
Burnt
job on the
Canyon,
ortho.
7,500 on the blue route.
And again, good thanks to my buddy Skid Rock, who's flying November 8134 Quebec, for helping me get this set up right. Couldn't have done it without you, man.
QNH adjusted.
Look around outside. inside.
November 124 Mike Charlie, Pearce Canyon 7,500.
Maybe one of these days I'll do a video where we fly the helicopter tour route through the Grand Canyon. That's pretty cool. There will be a video of the flight I did into Grand Canyon West from
Grand Canyon
John
traffic,
Wayne
Turbo
and
Outer
Learjet.
748, Hotel Sierra over
Wasn't-
Bat Cave,
didn't have
Blue
enough
Route.
time to get it posted before the live stream, so I'll hopefully get that posted sometime tonight. Coming up on Spencer Canyon. Still maintaining our 120 knots, giving her all she's got. Grand Canyon, November 21 Delta Alpha, Spencer Canyon, 7,500 Blue Route.
Kodiak 816, passing Diamond Creek, 7,500 on the Blue Route.
Grand Canyon traffic, Turbo Outer 748, Hotel Sierra, just passing Burnt Canyon on the Blue Route, 7,500. November 124 Mike Charlie, Batcave 7500 Blue Route.
Yeah, this guy's gonna pass me even though we're not supposed to. Or he climbed 1,000 feet above me or something. I don't know what he's doing. I'm pulling 120 and that's all I can do, so either this guy's gonna... I don't know what this guy's doing. I hope he just doesn't drop down in front of me. I don't know. I'm doing 120, which is 10 knots over the minimum, so we'll see. I don't really care if he passes us as long as he just doesn't come down right on top of us. That would not be good. Might put a scratch in the airplane. Alright, and then we're going to transition to the Blue Diamond sector where we're going to start a climb to 9,500.
November 124 Mike Charlie, Burnt Canyon 7500 Blue Route.
I'm hearing your calls, Mike.
Radio check? Yep, I hear you, Mike.
455.
This is 748 Hotel Sierra. Yeah, it might have been me then.
Alright. We're in the climb. Grand Canyon traffic, Cessna Cardinal 21 Delta Alpha Diamond Creek, climbing 9,500. There's the guy that was behind us, 11816. November 11816, I saw that you passed me. I'll just fall in behind you.
Oh, I apologize for that. I did not see you. Sorry about that.
No problem. Alright. 1,000 feet to go. We're bleeding off speed a little bit here.
Cardinal, this is 11816. Did you visually see me go by you, or were you just based on the check-in?
8116, I saw you fly right over me.
Yeah, my apologies, sir.
No problem. You didn't scratch the paint, so we're alright.
Grand Canyon traffic, Turbo Louder 748, Hotel Sierra, just past Spencer Canyon, 7,500 blue route.
Alright, so we're at 9,500 for the Diamond Creek altitude sector. Or sector altitude.
Grant, go on the Discord real quick.
Raj.
November 124 Mike Charlie, Spencer Canyon, 7,500 Blue Route.
– 9,500 feet, but it feels like I could reach out the window and touch it.
Grand Canyon traffic, Turbo Otter 748 Hotel Sierra is in spitting distance to Diamond Creek, Blue Route. That's a crick.
We're going to turn to the east here and transition. All right, I'll take a look at that. we're in the transition part from one route to the next, so the scenery is still okay, but not great.
November 124 Mike Charlie, Diamond Creek, 7,500 Blue Route.
Turn the engine noise down a little bit. Temperatures are running a little high. Cylinder head temperatures, oil temperatures. Enrich the mixture a little bit and see if that comes down. We're only getting about 20 inches of manifold pressure. This plane seems to run hot every time I fly it. I've never caught it on fire though, so I guess it's alright.
Cessna 34 Quebec coming from south of the square and 7,500.
Radio is starting to get a little staticky for those ahead of us. Okay, so what we're going to have to do, because Center doesn't want to deal with giving us clearance to transition the Delta, we're going to circumnavigate the Delta to the south.
Traffic securing 1212 Alpha over the square, 7500.
Everybody in the flight is having sim issues, like everybody seems to be crashing, so hopefully we're not next. That canyon over there is the South Supai Canyon. That's one of our reporting points.
Grand Canyon traffic, Kodiak 816 over the square, 7,500 on the blue route.
Grand Canyon traffic, Cessna Cardinal 21 Delta Alpha, Supai Canyon 7,500 blue route.
Number 327.
Interfere to the Dragon Bravo 9500 Blackout.
Grand Canyon traffic.
Alright, time to start our descent down to 8,500. And we need to start maneuvering to transition the Delta.
Bravo Golf, Zuni Bravo, 8000 Blackout.
Alpha, 8000 Blackout.
Number 327 Zulu is power off, sending 8,500 Blackout.
Grand Canyon traffic, Centurion 7 Papa Mike is Dragon Bravo 9500. Black Route.
Grand Canyon November 21 Delta Alpha, abeam the square, transitioning the Delta to the south, 8,500.
November 327 Sierra Zulu over the river, 8,500 Black Route, last call, Central Tower 2.
Alright, after we traverse the Delta here, we're going to transition to the Black Route. I don't have time to pull that chart up, so if you're interested in what that is, look at the Grand Canyon TAC chart and look for the Black Route. Alright, so we've just been informed we are not going to have any air traffic control into the Grand Canyon via they don't have
south the river, maneuvering towards the
radar,
siding, enter,
so it's
right
just going to have to be
downwind,
Unicom.
2-1,
Hopefully it
Grand
won't
Canyon
turn into a fur fest.
748 Hotel Cedar.
Go ahead.
Okay, we got permission from the center to use Unicom for going in and out of Grand Canyon National for the landing.
Affirmative, thank you.
November 121 Zulu Alpha and November 11816. If either of you can hear me, that same goes for you guys.
Attention all aircraft on Unicom frequency. Any aircraft planning to land at Grand Canyon National Park Airport will be able to use Unicom. Approval from center has been advised.
If they were going to let us use Unicom, we probably could have gone through the Delta. Oh well.
Grand Canyon traffic, Cardinal 3270 Zulu, deciding enter right downwind 21, Grand Canyon traffic.
And that's the leader of the pack, and he's getting ready to land. So, hopefully, most traffic will be landed. I think there's one or two that are behind us. Hopefully we don't get caught up in that mess.
Grand Canyon traffic, Centurion 7 Papa Mike, River 8500, descending, last call.
Grand Canyon traffic, Cardinal 3270 Zulu entering right downwind 21 Grand Canyon.
We're just about in the middle of the Delta, a beam
Grand
over
Canyon
there.
traffic, Cardinal 70 Zulu right base 21 Grand Canyon traffic.
Not much to see.
Grand Canyon
We're
traffic.
too far away to see the
Cardinal 410
airport
Hotel Alpha
traffic.
taxi 21 Grand Canyon.
Canyon traffic, Cardinal 7 Sierra Zulu, final 2-1, full stop, Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon traffic, Centurion November 7 Papa Mike over at the siding, inbound to land. We'll enter a right downwind for 2-1. Grand Canyon traffic.
Grand Canyon traffic, Turbo Otter 748, Hotel Sierra, abeam the square, we're passing the Class Delta to the south, eastbound.
Grand Canyon traffic, Cardinal 410, Hotel Alpha, taking runway 21.
If you look over there on the DTN, you can see everybody bunched up there, getting ready to go around the Delta.
Grand Canyon traffic, Cardinal 7 Sierra Zulu is clear 2-1, Grand Canyon traffic.
Grand Canyon traffic, Cardinal 410, Hotel Alpha, departing runway 21 for departure to the southeast. Going to hold over east until the rest of the traffic clears Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon traffic, Centurion 7 Papa Mike is on right downwind for runway 21, touch and go. Grand Canyon traffic.
Now we should be clear of the Class Delta. We can do this here. Go
Grand
direct.
Canyon traffic, Centurion 7 Papa Mike, right base runway 21.
Go back on
Grand Canyon traffic, touch and go.
Grand Canyon traffic, Kodiak 816 over Grandview Tower on the black route, 8,500 on the climb.
Grand Canyon traffic, November 7 Papa Mike, final runway 21, touch and go. Grand Canyon traffic.
Grand Canyon traffic, Cardinal 410, Hotel Alpha, left crosswind departure, Grand Canyon.
Right in front of us we have the 10X Meadows. That's the next reporting point.
Bravo Golf, Dragon Bravo, 9,500 black route.
Just 3 back, split west, 9,500 black route.
Again, Grand Canyon traffic, Centurion 7 Papa Mike, runway 21 on the go. Entering right downwind. Canyon traffic, Centurion 7, Papa Mike, right downwind, runway 21, full stop, Grand Canyon.
November 124, my Charlie, over the square, 8,000. Blue route, transitioning black route.
Grand Canyon traffic, Turbo Outer 748 Hotel Sierra, just past 10X Meadow on the black route, 9,000.
Grand Canyon traffic, Centurion 7, Papa Mike, right base, runway 21, full stop, Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon traffic, Centurion 7, Papa Mike, short final, runway 21, Grand Canyon, full stop.
Grand Canyon traffic, Kodiak 816, Zuni Alpha on the black route, 9,500.
Grand Canyon traffic, Century 1210 Alpha over the lake, and 9,500.
And Grand Canyon traffic, Centurion 7, Papa Mike's clear, runway 21, Grand Canyon traffic.
Grand Canyon traffic, Turbo Outer 748 Hotel Sierra, just past Grandview Tower on the black route, 9,000.
Custom 34 Quebec, Triangle Bravo, 9,500 black.
Grand Canyon traffic, Aero 9 Juliet Whiskey, passing Saddle Mountain southbound. On the black route, 9,500. Grand Canyon traffic, Kodiak 816, Temple Butte, black route 9,500.
Grand Canyon traffic, Turbo Outer 748 Hotel Sierra, just passing Zuni Alpha, 9,000 black route.
November 317 Bravo Golf at the river, last call.
Grand Canyon traffic, Cardinal 410, Hotel Alpha is on the hold at east, level at 8,000, waiting for Mike Charlie to pass Zuni Alpha.
Grand Canyon traffic, A360, south wrong, at 10.5, just for 8.5 miles. Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon traffic, Century 112 Alpha over Dragon Bravo, 9,500 black headlights.
Grand Canyon traffic, Aero 9 Juliet Whiskey, westbound at the split on the Black Route, 9,500. Grand Canyon traffic, 706, November 317 Bravo Golf is about 7 miles to the north of it, after right down to 1 Grand Canyon.
Quebec Tower, raw, 8,500.
November 124, Mike Charlie, 10X Meadow, 9,000, Black Route.
Grand Canyon traffic, Kodiak 816, Nankoweap Mesa, Black Route 9,500.
Grand Canyon traffic between 832 is about 8 west, eastbound, right back from Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon traffic, November 317 Bravo Golf is right 45 for 21. Grand Canyon.
Cessna 34 Quebec, over the river, 8,500, Black Route.
Grand Canyon traffic, 7 Bravo Golf, turning right down with 21.
Grand Canyon traffic, Arrow 9 Juliet Whiskey, Dragon Bravo, Black Route 9,500.
Grand Canyon traffic, Centurion 121 Zulu Alpha over Tower of Ra, 9,500 descending Black Route.
Grand Canyon traffic, Kodiak 816, Saddle Mountain 9,500, Black Route.
Grand Canyon traffic, 7 Bravo Golf, right base 21.
Grand Canyon traffic, Turbo Otter 748 Hotel Sierra, just past Temple Butte 9,000.
Grand Canyon 7 Bravo Golf is short final 2-1 Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon Cessna Cardinal 21 Delta Alpha, Temple Butte, Black Route 9500.
November 124 Mike Charlie, Izuni Alpha at 9000 Black Route.
Grand Canyon traffic, Cherry 1212 Alpha over the river.
Now we're going to head to the Nakaweep Mesa.
Grand Canyon traffic, Kodiak 816 at the split 9500 on the black route.
We're going to pass over this little enclave part of the canyon here called Little Colorado. It's not a reporting point for this route unless you were to enter the black route from there, and then you would report entering black route at Little Colorado.
Grand Canyon 7 Bravo Golf is clear.
Alright, so now we need to descend down to 8,500 because we're going to change direction of flight.
8,000 on the black route.
Grand Canyon traffic, Arrow 9 Juliet Whiskey, over Tower of Ra, black route. Grand Canyon, what am I, 9,500. Grand Canyon traffic.
Grand Canyon traffic, for Quebec turning right downwind from Grand Canyon.
Turn to the west. Got about another 500 feet to drop. Making sure we don't go over 130 knots indicated.
Okay, traffic Cessna 34 Quebec turning right to base runway 21 Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon traffic, Cherry 112 Alpha over at the siding, 10,800, going right down with runway 21.
Grand Canyon traffic, Arrow 9 Juliet Whiskey, over the river, 9,500 southbound, last call, Grand Canyon traffic. Grand Canyon traffic, Kodiak 816, Dragon Bravo, black route 9,500.
Grand Canyon traffic Cessna 34 Quebec turning 2 mile final runway 21 Grand Canyon traffic.
Cardinal 410 Hotel Alpha, cross east at 8,000, Black Rock, I'm sorry, cross the Grand Tower at 8,000.
Zigzag away.
Grand Canyon traffic, Turbo Otter, 748 Hotel Sierra, just passing Nano Coweep Mesa, 9,000.
Easy for you to say.
I'm not from Wyoming.
Grand Canyon traffic, entering 121 Zulu Alpha, right base, runway 21.
Cardinal 410 Hotel Alpha, Zuni Alpha, 8,000 Black Route.
Grand Canyon traffic, Cessna Cardinal 21 Delta Alpha, Nanaqueek Mesa, 8,500 Black Route.
Grand Canyon traffic, Cessna, Quebec clear, runway 21, taxi.
Grand Canyon traffic, Arrow 9 Juliet Whiskey is about 8 miles to the west, passing the ranch. I will be joining the right downwind from runway 21, Grand Canyon traffic.
November 124 Mike Charlie, Temple Butte, 9,000 Black Route.
Alright, now it's time to climb again.
Grand Canyon traffic, Turbo Otter, 748 Hotel Sierra, at the split, westbound on the Black Route, 9,500.
Grand Canyon traffic, Kodiak 816 Tower of Ra, 9,500 Black Route. Grand Canyon traffic, Air 9 Juliet Whiskey to the west, joining the right downwind runway 21, Grand Canyon traffic.
Grand Canyon traffic, Century 121 Zulu Alpha, clear, runway 21 on Delta.
Grand Canyon
Jagged
traffic,
rocks
Kodiak
down there.
816 over the river, 8,500 last call.
Alright, and then we've got to turn westbound here and head towards Dragon Bravo because this little plateau over here is marked as a flight free zone. Nothing below 14,500. Grand Canyon traffic, Cessna Cardinal at the split westbound, 9,500 Black Route.
Grand Canyon traffic, Arrow 9, Juliet Whiskey, turning right base for runway 21, Grand Canyon traffic.
November 124, Nike Charlie, Nankoweap Mesa 9000, Black Route.
Then we're going to pass Dragon Bravo. We're going to turn to the southbound and head towards Tower of Ra.
Grand Canyon traffic, Turbo Otter 748 Hotel Sierra, passing Dragon Bravo 9500 on Black Route.
Grand Canyon traffic, Arrow 9, Juliet Whiskey, turning final, runway 21, Grand Canyon traffic.
Cardinal 410 Hotel Alpha, Temple Butte 8000 Black Route.
Grand Canyon traffic, Cessna Cardinal 21 Delta Alpha, Dragon Bravo 9500 Black Route.
Grand Canyon traffic, Kodiak 816, we're going to be entering the 45 right downwind runway 21, Grand Canyon.
Alright, 23 miles to go, should be there in about 12 minutes. We might have to hold and wait for a position to land here, but everything seems to be going pretty smooth. I think we've had a few planes drop out of the pack. Alright, we're going to start transitioning to the south here. Hopefully we make it back to the airport before dark. I would not want to be flying this route in the dark in a single engine.
November 124, Mike Charlie, Saddle Mountain, 9500 Black Route.
Grand Canyon traffic, Air 9 Juliet Whiskey, clear runway 21 at Delta. Grand Canyon traffic, Kodiak 816, right base runway 21, Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon traffic, Turbo Otter 748 Hotel Sierra, Tower of Ra 8500 Black Route.
Grand Canyon traffic, Kodiak 816, turning final runway 21, Grand Canyon.
November 124, Mike Charlie,
Split West, 9,500 Black Route.
Alright, we'll start our descent. Should be at 8,500 by the Tower of Ra.
Grand Canyon traffic, Turbo Water 748 Hotel Sierra. The river, Black Route 8,500, last call.
Grand Canyon traffic, Cessna Cardinal 21 Delta Alpha, Tower of Ra 8,500. Black Route. A little premature on the altitude call there, but hey, we'll be alright. I won't tell if you don't. I'm not exactly sure what down there they call the Tower of Ra, but that's where we're at. Maybe it's that big rock.
Grand Canyon traffic, Kodiak 816, clear of runway 21 on Echo.
Cardinal 410, Hotel Alpha, Echoes Mesa at 8,000 up to 8,500 for Black Route.
Grand Canyon Cessna Cardinal 21 Delta Alpha over the river, Black Route, last call. Alright, we've made our last call on the Grand Canyon route. We still have to make our CTAF calls.
November 124, Mike Charlie, Dragon Bravo, 9,500 Black Route. Grand Canyon National Park, Turbo Otter 748 Hotel Sierra is 10 miles to the east, inbound for landing. Will join a right base or right downwind for runway 21. Grand Canyon National Park.
There's the airport.
Grand Canyon National Park traffic. Turbo Otter 748 Hotel Sierra, right downwind, runway 21, Grand Canyon National Park. Grand Canyon National Park, Turbo Otter 748 Hotel Sierra, turning base, runway 21, Grand Canyon National Park.
Grand Canyon National Park, Cessna Cardinal going to enter for a right base 21. Sorry, right downwind.
Cardinal 410 Hotel Alpha, split west at 9500. Black Road.
Grand Canyon National Park, Turbo Otter 748 Hotel Sierra, turning final, runway 21, Grand Canyon National Park.
Alright, we're midfield. We can go ahead and start turning towards the airport here. Grand Canyon National Traffic, Cessna Cardinal, we're going to fly midfield, enter overhead for a right downwind to runway 21.
November 124, Mike Charlie Tower, raw, 9,000 or 8,500 Black Route.
I hope everybody enjoyed that that flight. I know it was a long one. I appreciate anybody that takes the time to watch any of my videos. Please feel free to comment below. If you watch this video after the live stream, I will still address any comments left on the video playback. Let's just keep it professional and be friendly.
Cardinal 410 Hotel Alpha, Dragon Bravo, 9500 Black Route.
November 124, Mike Charlie over the river. 8,500 Black Route, last call.
Grand Canyon National Park traffic, Turbo Otter 748 Hotel Sierra is clear of runway 21 at Charlie. Good night, everyone.
Grand Canyon National Traffic, Cessna Cardinal 21 Delta Alpha, entering right downwind, runway 21.
Grand Canyon National Traffic, Skywagon 124 Mike Charlie is about 10 miles out inbound for the right downwind runway 21 Grand Canyon.
Alright, gears down and locked. We'll hold off on the flaps.
QNH adjusted.
Grand Canyon National Traffic, Cessna Cardinal midfield, downwind runway 21. Grand Canyon National Traffic, Cessna Cardinal turning base runway 21. Grand Canyon National, Cessna Cardinal turning final runway 21 full stop, Grand Canyon National.
Grand Canyon National Traffic, Skywagon 124 Mike Charlie is in the right downwind for runway 21 Grand Canyon National. Grand Canyon National Traffic, Skywagon 124 Mike Charlie, right base 21 full stop, Grand Canyon National.
Cardinal 410 Hotel Alpha, across the river of the Black Route at 8500.
Nobody mind them bushes.
Grand Canyon National traffic, Skywagon 124 Mike Charlie's turn final for runway 21, Grand Canyon National.
Cessna Cardinal, clear 2-1 on Echo.
Hotel Alpha is 8 miles northwest, inbound for a full stop.
Find a place to park over here.
Grand Canyon National traffic, Skywagon 124 Mike Charlie's clear, runway 21, Grand Canyon National.
Alright. Set the parking brake. Fuel to cut off. And we're down safe and sound. Hope everybody enjoyed that. I definitely enjoyed the flight. And stay tuned for future flights. Until then, have a great day.